We return back to ITC ArmA Guard with the recruits from 559 Troop as they continue their Phase 1 training with the 4th Infantry Brigade.
So, the next part we'll go over is the ACE Medical mod that we have. Probably the most extensive one. It's the one that makes sure that it's not the ArmA vanilla system where you take a round to your finger and then you go, whoop, that. It has quite in-depth simulation in this now, especially because we have a further add-on. Well, actually, first question is, how many of you have used ACE Medical before?
Yeah, I have, and I've seen the high-end stuff as well. It was quite impressive.
Yeah, so we have an extra mod called CAT Medical, which further enhances it with much more drugs and bone fractures and basically as deep as you can possibly simulate it, to the point also where before I became a sergeant, I was a CTM in the Danish Home Guard, and I passed my CTM course thanks to ACE Medical.
Is ArmA just carrying your military career?
Yes, it seems like it. It also carried my section commander's course, to be honest, because Danish army is basically just British tactics with American fire rates. We'll get to that point. So, for ACE Medical, what we want to go over, there's a few core, basically the word we most prefer to use when there's any kind of medical is, now my question is, does someone think the acronym for this?
I do.
What is it?
AEET.
AEET? Yep. Basically, AEET is the following actions that we do when it is used. We take a casualty. What do you think the first A stands for?
Assess.
Nope. Not yet. This is basically we're running along and someone's been hit. What's the first thing we do?
I knew it as check for hazards, but I don't see that's a match your acronym.
Alert.
Yep. So we alert the others around us that someone is down. This is said by just calling out "man down," either on the radio, or if there's no one speaking on the radio, or you can yell it out on yelling, which is the thing we went over. If you hold tab and scroll wheel, you can change the volume of your voice, or not so much the volume, but the range it carries. So when you're in a firefight, just hold tab and scroll that thing all the way up so everyone can hear you. And it carries quite far. If you all try huddle in, I'll try going absolute whisper, and you'll see that as soon as I walk over here. And then if I go on normal, you should just see that my voice shall start drifting off very quickly away, so that I essentially have to go to yelling over here.
Fair enough.
So, if we're sitting inside the base and everyone is around and you want to talk to your friends in the section, please go to the lowest or second lowest volume, because else everyone can hear you.
Yeah.
And it's very loud sometimes, especially when we're trying to plan out what to do next. All right. Back to medical. So, essentially, just if we take a casualty, you'll shout out "man down." That means that everyone knows, oh shit, someone's down. Or we use "man down," X is down. So first the word, just so everyone is aware. Then you can say the name and the word, so people are aware of who it is. First up, we just need to know who someone is down. Afterwards, we can find out who it is. The next E in it, what would you think that is? After we've alerted someone of a casualty, we will have to...
Extract?
No, not yet. Not necessarily.
Oh no, I mean like, you have to like make the area clear, safe. Just, I don't mean.
Yep.
Yeah.
How do we make it safe?
By killing everybody.
Yes, eliminate.
Engage.
Yeah.
So, once you get to the second part, we need to eliminate the enemy, or at least push them back to create a safe space for our wounded friend, so that we can get into the next E, which you just said beforehand. You just said it.
What, engage?
No, after the first one.
Extract.
Yes, evacuate.
Like you.
But once the firefight is won, or it's been ongoing but for a significant time, is when we can start getting our guy out of there and into safety. So that means that if I have walked out and ended up as a casualty on this road, you don't just run out and get me. You get behind that log and engage, and then once the enemy across the road here has been eliminated, then you can drag me behind the log. You usually talk of like phase 1, 2, and 3 in firefights. This I'm pushing on a later medical course, but I nerd this in real life, so I'm excited about this. But essentially, you have just you're in a safe space once you're not taking direct fire, if that makes sense. So you can be under fire, but still safe in the sense that if you're behind this log, you're no longer being directly shot at necessarily. So there you have time to treat. But if you're out here, you're not safe. So there you can't treat. That's the rule. Mainly aimed at you, Noble.
Okay.
Don't start treating him here.
I'm not.
Like, don't worry, I just need to bandage him up. But alright, and the last one, I've pretty much just said it. What do we do after we've evacuated him?
Start doing medical.
We treat him.
Yeah, treat him.
So, the way this is done, essentially, is if you go up to any one of us, you'll see either you can ace interact on people, and you can see right arm, torso, left arm, shoulder, everything. I like using the medical menu, which I've set to H. So if you go up and press H on someone, I think it might actually be... Oh, I think it should be H by default.
is,
You'll
yeah.
get up a whole menu where you can select body parts and check how they're doing. So if you go on examine, for example, check their pulse. Now, we're just recruits, so it will just say, for example, normal heart rate. If you all try that.
Yep.
Now,
Wait,
I'm
how do
going
I
to
check
just...
that?
So if you go to like the arm,
Right.
and then go to examine in the top left. Just a little
it
loop
doesn't.
over the person.
It doesn't show anything for that. It won't let me press any of those buttons. Oh, I have to have my gun on my back, don't I? Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Sorry.
I forget that. Yeah. Okay, got that.
So if you check the pulse, you'll see it says heart rate normal.
Yep.
Now I'm going to set our traits. Medic, just to showcase this system. Now try and check my pulse again.
80.
So when you're set up as a medic, you will get a full, more detailed explanation of what's going on. Now I'm gonna set you to trial that out and also take a look over the bandages. I'm gonna put Noble in charge of just showing that off as he knows it while I fill Stockwell in.
Oh, what?
Good luck. We'll move along. We're currently in the medical part. I assume you already got the radios part.
I've got the
from past.
radio.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alright, so the bandages that you usually will find yourself in is fully issued. We have the packing bandages, which is basically to stem any avulsions or puncture wounds, basically anything assumed by the firearm itself, anything that would be bleeding. And the elastic bandage is more useful for things such as the, bruises, and to help reinforce the packing bandage, although ACE doesn't simulate that part. But it sometimes, basically anything that's not a avulsion or a puncture wound, you want to use elastic bandages on, while the packing bandage...
Still the same then, majority of this.
Yes.
Okay.
The more part is the other thing you have is your quick clot. The quick clot is a more quick bandage than the packing one, and will hold a bit longer. So it can be useful, for example, if you have like a heavy avulsion. You'll have different types of wounds, all from light, medium, and heavy bleeding. If you have someone with like a large avulsion, the quick clot will come in handy to start off with before you put the packing to finish it up. A lot of this is further in depth in the medical courses during it.
They're pretty good, actually, to be fair, them courses.
They are very good at them. I also run a few of them. Now, what you'll find usually if someone is unconscious, you'll be able to provide CPR on them. This essentially is when they are unconscious, and I'm going to try to see if I can get a willing participant.
Can't be unconscious.
Not one of you. This guy.
Can I shoot him?
I have to. If you all come over to this guy. Let's see. Oh,
Dig grave for body. I think he's dead.
not yet. Couldn't be.
There's a thing in the advanced
means
treatment saying
cardiac
dig
state.
grave for body.
Yeah, it does say that he's dead.
I've got heart rate.
Yeah, sometimes it says dig.
Yeah,
it breaks sometimes.
There we go. Right. If you all
He's still
go
very
onto
much dead
his,
to me.
he is alive, but sometime you will be able to dig grave, even though he is actually alive. So please don't bury someone. If you check his chest, or if you're in advanced medical, you'll see that there's CPR. So if you click on his chest, it's the fourth button from the right, the little heart rate model, and you can essentially just start CPR.
Just saying, I
When did
don't
this-
have that. It's still telling me that he's very much dead, and I need to dig a grave.
Get closer to him.
No, I have done twice.
CPR's disappeared now because he's doing
It has,
CPR.
Luke is doing it. But when you essentially start doing this, don't stop it until the medic gets to you. So only ever do this if you're in a safe environment. The sections will also go a bit further. Yeah, I removed them. The sections will go a bit further into that, so we'll jump over it a bit. The last bit we got that I'll show you, or we have, is our tourniquets. Most amazing military invention ever to be introduced. This essentially is a plastic and Velcro setup that you wrap around either arm or leg, any limb. Don't do it around your neck, even though I wish I could do it on some people sometimes. Essentially, this just cuts off blood flow to your limb completely. In a firefight, if you're, for example, out there, it means that just you don't have to worry about putting a bandage on until after the fight, in-game wise. In real life, that would hurt too fucking much, at least for a while. But if you all try and open the medical menu and on each other, try just apply the tourniquet, and you should see that it will give a little blue icon over where you put it. You can always tell if someone has it. Alright. Any questions to this?
No.
Right, just take the tourniquets off each other. And then for the next part here, we'll go over to some shooting. So, once you're all set, jump in the truck behind and we'll get going.
Are you going to revert us back to driving them?
Yeah. Well, I don't have to.
Ding dang, golly, 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 what's she? Ding dang, ding.
Are we there yet?
With the basics now covered, the men of 559 Troop head to the training range to learn the infantry fighting skills which will keep them alive on the battlefield.
Come on over to the flags.
Oh, why isn't he giving up?
So, we are. Here we go. Next part we'll be going over is fire control orders. This will be usually issued either by your section commander, or you can actually also issue one yourself if your section commander hasn't given one. That's the part most people forget. It's essentially the call to shoot at something. What we'll
Right,
start
take
out
a
with.
phone call really quickly.
Yep,
What's
no
that?
worries.
Music.
Alert, contact, location.
Or alert. location explanation.
Oh yeah, I've got that as well.
Or yeah, we'll get the other one afterwards. But yeah, so the first one is when it is we have seen something or sighted something down there. We want to use AIL, which, as Stockwell mentioned, alert, which is basically you want to tell what it is you've seen. So either a contact or a sighting. Usually the difference between it is that a contact is dangerous to us right now and is about to kill you or do harm to us, and a sighting is more of a identification of an enemy that is not immediately threatening to us, so we can take our time just to have a look at him. So a guy down the road here approaching is a contact because he's going to see us in a second and shoot us. A guy sitting down there at the base is not a contact because he hasn't seen us. We're sitting up here hidden. So he's a sighting. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I want you to try out. We'll just do 101. Luke is away, but Stockwell and Harrison can go, and Noble and I can go together, and then just give each other a sighting out in the distance here in the terrain. So here's of course alert, then the location. So just a brief description of what it is you see out here, or what he's. So either like the range to him in meters, or like a landmark. So for example, sighting man in the fob southeast.
Last of us, got to go see my kids out quickly.
Alright, no worries.
Yeah, I'll be a couple of minutes.
Yep, no worries. We'll go with Harrison and Noble then, and then Luke and Stockwell can do it together afterwards.
So how did you
sorry, I'm back.
point at something so it came up on the screen?
Oh, shift tilde.
Shift tilde.
Yeah, that is the pointing. Very useful tool. It means anyone around you will see just when you say over there. It's like where? There.
Okay.
So once you have the location, oh yeah, also for location, don't use compass bearings unless people are standing right next to you. Because imagine now we're spread out on the line, and you tell me that a contact is to the southeast, but I'm all the way over to your right. So to me, he's actually northeast. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you, as much as possible, use landmarks and meters. Somewhat directions like left of the section, right of the section is fine. Just what makes sense, but keep it brief. And then at the end is the explanation, which is a rough strength or composition of forces. So for example, sighting, roadblock, straight ahead, about 200 meters, 5 infantry sitting in bunkers. Short and simple. Just so that everyone else in your section can quickly find what it is you're looking for. Who is feeling confident in giving one now?
I could do it.
Right, Luke?
Contact southeast, ETR 400 meters.
Yep, fine. Nice one. Short and sweet. No need for more. Harrison?
That's the London. Sighting tower 300. Sighting man tower 300 meters. Top of tower.
Yep. And Noble?
Sighting. Roadblock. Right side of radar dish.
Alright, yeah. Very nice.
So in this circumstance where we're together kind of as a group, would we give a direction?
So, if you're all just bounced up together, it's fine, yeah. Or if you're just giving it to your buddy, it's more so you have to be aware of like how far out is my section spread out now when I give this compass to bearing. You'll find most people do give it, because it finds very natural when you have the compass down there at your bottom, and it is helpful. But if you have something else other than the direction to give, might as well give that.
Yeah. So like in my case, I would say tower 300 meters to the east.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or for example, we'll just go sighting straight ahead
Yeah, click
if
on
we're
it.
walking on like a baseline.
Yeah, sure.
Straight ahead, 500 meters or 12 o'clock or something. Right. The next one you'll hear is the fire control order. So this one is basically used to direct fire onto targets that the way the section commander wants it. So the way this runs is kind of like the AIL, but there's a few extra things, and we have the GRIT, or the acronym called GRIT, which is group.
I'll see if I remember.
Group, yep, group, range, indication, and type of fire. So the group is, for example, me as the section commander will go section. That means all of you, or I may just go Charlie or Delta, depending on who I want to fire for this. For example, I may just want Delta to fire if I want Charlie to advance. But for this one, we'll go section, and then we'll go the range, so 200 meters. Indication is where and what the target is, so enemy FOB. And then the type of fire. We have a few different types to give. I think some of you may know that. Fire, which is roughly around every 2 or 3 seconds. We have deliberate fire, which is roughly 1 round every 6 seconds. So that's more of a aimed fire. And then there is watch and shoot, which is also that you are to cease fire, but if you see an enemy, you shoot. So you're not continuously shooting, but if you see someone pop up, you drop him. And then, of course, ceasefire is just hold, because we want to do something, and I need all of you to stop shooting for a moment, or all the enemies are dead. So, let's try action. 200 meters. Enemy FOB. Rapid. Fire. Section. Switch it down to deliberate. Ceasefire. Now, question: is anyone's ears ring?
Not me, I've got earplugs in.
There, someone's got it. If you have a heavy weapon nearby, or if you're near this, you may start hearing your ears ring. This is because we also have earplugs. So if you use your self-interact key and go to the top at equipment, you should see at the bottom you can put your earplugs in, and your noise will be slightly muffled.
It's a godsend.
This is very recommended, especially if you're near any kind of machine gun, as your hearing will go immediately, and then you just hear wee for the rest of the night. There's a few different fire orders you can get from your section ICs out there. One of them is the full one, which is where, if we have plenty of time, you'll get it like I just said, with section 300 meters front by the roadblock, rapid fire, don't shoot. Then there's the brief one, which is where like they just appeared in front of us and we need to drop them right now. So it's just section 300 meters front, rapid fire. So just in front of us, 200 meters, shoot. There can also be individual fire orders. So if you're, for example, a special weapon like the marksman or the machine gunner, you may be given a specific one. One to note is that as the marksman, when everyone else is on rapid fire, you're always on deliberate fire. Or even better on watch and shoot. You're always basically one step below the rest of the section because you carry a special type of ammo and we don't all have that. Then there's also the delayed fire order, which is usually where the section IC will usually start it off with saying it's a delayed one, but else he will say basically the entire order, like section 300 meters front, enemy FOB, and then he will not say the fire until you're set. Basically, for example, if you're performing an ambush of some kind, and then he will just give the order to fire, and then everyone will shoot. Any questions to this?
Nope, negative.
We'll move swiftly on, just so we don't take too much time, but let's hop into the formations, where we will get a quick look.
These are
I know some of
fun.
you will know these, but we'll just go over the base formations that we use here in the 4th usually. The first one is what we call the baseline or extended line, depending what time of the British Army you're in. The extended line is, I call it baseline because that's what I have been just bonked into my head with. But some might call it extended line. Essentially, just from the section I see, you will spread out alongside him. So, for example, if Luke and Noble, you go off my left, and Stockwell and Harrison, you go off my right. And then face the same direction as me. Now, if you have DOI, one thing to note is we want to keep a nice spacing of between 5 meters between each other and then 10 meters between the teams. If you have the DOI, it basically just means one kind of ring between each other. But the baseline is essentially where we spread out here and then we'll move forward. So, for example, if you're section prepare to move, we'll be just moving ahead at a walk. That either Control C or WS, depending on the control scheme you have. So, section prepare to move, section move. And we essentially just advance forward towards an enemy contact. Bolt. This is useful when. Feel free to pull in. Noble, hop on over. So when do you think the baseline is useful?
When you're moving up to an enemy position or you're clearing through a forest.
Yep. It's very nice for just sweeping positions, or if you're moving across a wide space. If you've just forced, for example, to just push across like a field or something, just to get as much firepower up front as possible, because we know they're going to come from that direction. We just don't know where exactly they are just yet, so we just want to make sure that when they appear, everyone can fucking drop them. The disadvantage is, of course, if they come from the side of us, kind of fucked. A lot of us can see them. I'm going to move us slightly, also just so we can get a bit further spread on. So the next one we have is also one of the most used formations for moving, is the column or the file. So the column is essentially just a single file, kind of like the baseline, but just facing one direction. So if you all just form off the back of Harrison here and face off south. We've now formed a column, and if everyone just section face right, we've now formed a baseline, and section face left, we're back in a column. Yeah, very advanced. No, the column is the best formation if we want to move quickly, because it's just follow me, let's go. Keep speed, and you know everyone's just following behind, and you know don't get someone lost in a bush of somewhere on your right because he didn't see that we all turned left somewhere. The other one that we have is, of course, so the column here, if we're just moving off forest paths or small areas where we just want to get somewhere quick. But for places where it's a bit further, like a big road, or if we're moving inside of towns, we might want to spread ourselves out a little. And for that, we have the stagger column. For that, I want Noble and Luke just to take about 5 steps to the left or the right. Luke is already on his way right, so take a few steps to the right. And oh god, what's the name? English naming of this again?
Yeah, staggered.
Yeah. So there's 2 versions of this. There's either the staggered file where you, for your Charlie team, keeps on the left and your Delta team keeps to the right, And then there's the I forget the English name of this, sorry. If someone does know it, please say. Else the other way that most people want their staggered is that, for example, if you have Stockwell here, I'm second and Harrison is front, I will basically just move off to the side, and then you're just zigzagging down the line. This can also be done where you have your Delta team on the right staggered in with your Charlie team, but then it gets all kinds of messed up. These three are probably some of the most used formations that we have at all. If your section form back into a column. And now I want everyone just to go up and hug the back of the next person in front of you.
Doing herringbone.
Yes. I'll crouch down and look left, and Stockwell, you look right. If you look right, Stockwell.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the buttons.
Other right.
But this is right. You mean left?
Yeah, look this way.
Me.
This is the herringbone. The herringbone
no,
is
not
essentially
X.
X.
I love
There
it.
you go. So the herringbone is essentially not so much used out in the field, but it's nice for the when we just want to get all huddled up and just quickly do a reorg, make sure everyone is around and ready to go. You usually do this at the start of a op night, just to make sure we got everyone ready to go. Next one, we have the ARD, or the all-round defense. This essentially is where we're going to form a circle around if we're, for example, holding somewhere out in the field and about to do our reorg. So I want Stockwell just to push like 5 feet ahead. And Harrison, you just go over there a bit. And Luke, yep, you got it. And Noble a bit east. Basically just with fan out each cardinal direction. If you have a full section, you can of course do a bit further, but we are just 4, so might as well just take north, east, south, and west. Now we got someone watching all directions, while me and the 2IC usually just sits in the middle. I start radioing up to my platoon commander about, hey, we just finished fucking these people up, what do we do now? And the 2IC will come around to you and just check on all your ammunition scores, make sure you got everything that we need to move on and kill more people. As mentioned, there was the arrowhead. This one's a bit trickier sometimes. But if Stockwell, you just look out to the west there, where you are. Essentially, what we do is every person out stands out about 5 meters or so from the person, and then slightly ajar. And you basically just keep fanning out like this, while also slightly staggered. So Noble, if you hop over on the right, and then behind Luke. So this one is kind of like the baseline, with you get a broad front across open terrain, while not putting everyone up front, and you can still do a bit of maneuvering with your other teams to flank out and keep your sides secure. A version of this that is more used by some sections is that the Section C, or the NATO T, in which 3 of us will be up front, and then the Delta Fire team. So if Noble, you come to me and stand behind me. So you have a arrowhead up front with 3 people, and then you have the rest of the section following in a column behind. Does that make somewhat sense?
Yeah, it does.
Because that means that you still have the people up front to, if we engage with the enemy, and then you have a team here behind which can then flank either left or right depending on what kind of threat we just faced off. For those of you who are not used to military sim games or military orders, when it is we get into a fight or something, almost the more you speak of what you're doing, the better. You get a lot of people who just kind of And also, the more you speak of it, the more immersion you can add to the rest of this action. The worst can be when we're in a firefight and it gets a bit hectic, but everyone's just kind of silent, clicking their mouse, and just bang, bang, bang. It gets a bit more atmospheric when people start yelling out that, well, for example, just changing magazines and that you're moving. The one adds immersion, which makes the fights a lot cooler for all of us. But second, also, it just lets everyone else know that you are changing your magazine and you can no longer fire your rifle in case someone gets, so that the next person knows that he needs to up his fire rate a little bit until you're back in. This can also be if your weapon jams, or if you're, for example, sitting in a place where you're not really in a good spot and you need to move, or whenever your section IC gives an order, ideally you should pass it up. So whenever I say section ready to move, I should be hearing the person to my left and right ready to move, or prepared to move. Doesn't always happen, but you can usually tell a good section from a bad one when you start hearing it. Usually when we're out in the field, you'll find yourself in your section, you'll always find yourself paired with a buddy, so to say. A person next to you that you should try and just keep eyes on as much as possible. This means that because of course, yes, the section of the 8 people will try to keep a lookout for each other, but you can't keep an eye on all 8 people at the same time, so there should always be 2 people that keep an eye on each other, so that when it is you get shot in the head and fall over unconscious, you don't get left behind because someone 5 minutes later goes, "Hey, where's Noble?" So the person that was looking out for you, Luke, who was standing next to Noble, is like, "Oh shit, Noble's down," and knows it. The worst part is when you've already moved off as a section IC and someone goes, "Hey, where's Luke?" "I don't know." "Ah, shit. Time to go back for him." Or hope he bled out on time so we don't have to find him again. We'll be very quickly soon going on to some of the final bits and some shooting against things again. But before that, we need to just talk about what happens when it is we take fire. There is another acronym because it's the army. Everything needs an acronym. Honestly, the British Army has too few acronyms for my taste. That's just my opinion. There is something we call RTR. Which some of you will be familiar with. It is, so when you take a shot, you are to the first R.
Return fire.
Round fire.
Yep. So basically just 2 free shots in their direction to get them to poke their heads down from you, because they just dare to take a shot at you. And if everyone does that, that means that's about, that could quickly become like 20 or 30 rounds against them, which is very scary when you're not... the AI we actually use also for this will actually get scared by your bullets and duck. It does actually work, and Zeus also does actually do it when there's a player sitting there. Once you have returned your fire, you should then...
Take cover.
Yes. Have a quick look around you. Where can you find cover? If no hard cover is available, where can you hide yourself? Without, of course, taking away your free shot. You always want a clear shot to the target, so that you can engage him and not just let him shoot at you. And then, once you have found your cover, you should...
Rapid fire.
An appropriate fire.
Yes. So that is either the section I see at this point will, if he's shit hot, he will have already gone section rapid fire in the direction you're taking it from. Or if you, as a private, your section IC or 2IC haven't given you a fire control order yet, or called out you haven't heard a call out, what do you do?
Take one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, just to...
You, as a section member, can always go, unless your section commander is a cunt, they will never mind you going, section cons, if you're very sure he's over there, section contact in that building, rapid fire. If anything, he'll just, oh no, we shouldn't do rapid fire, we'll do a deliberate fire, but you can give the fire control order if it is you can see the target. Initiative is not frowned upon. Just be ready for when the section IC says no, then okay, do what I say. But least in my section, I run basically, if you see something that you find is good, and I don't have any further plans, I'll usually say okay, unless I have some plan in my head I'm about to give you. Well, what we'll actually just do is, if you all just make a baseline of me facing west.
Contact.
I don't see much shooting.
Do you want to see where the contact came from?
Right, hold. So, for this as well, even if you don't so much see him, but if you've somewhat heard the direction is coming from, the rapid fire is also kind of to be saying you can shoot at assumed enemy positions. So, for example here, a very obvious one is probably somewhere along this Hesco bastion he's shooting at us from. So let's just start suppressing that in case it is. And then he might be in the woodline behind it, but if anything, it will get somewhat of a reaction for it. Because if we get passive and just let him shoot, we'll start taking casualties.
So for the point of this scenario, are we looking for targets rather than actual beings? As in the pop-up targets?
There's a mix.
Okay.
You'll
There might
see
be
in
some
a
that
minute.
shoot at you.
You will see.
Which? What is next? If you all open your inventory, make this interesting. Drag the yellow dot off your gun and make it live.
The yellow. Do you mean take the BFA off?
Yes.
Yeah.
Blank fire adapter.
Okay, done. I was hitting targets earlier with it on, so I'm not sure if that's working right.
It is. It will still register a hit, but it just won't do damage. So
Right, I see.
live enemy in there, it will just shrug off everything you do to him.
Yeah.
But so what I just, if you hear the contact, I just want you to basically shoot back, react, and get some shots down. Just to try practice the shuffling a bit of yourself. If we all just push a bit left here, come with me. And then baseline off my left and right. 2 people off my left, 2 people off my right. There we are. Right.
Contact. Contact 200 meters front, single man, left of Hesco Bastion. Target neutralized.
Contact west 100 meters. Alright, hold fire. Nice one. Alright, fall back in here.
So if it is, we have something like this where it's just a single enemy on it. This of course is a bit bigger, so we wouldn't do that in this, but let's say it's just a single bunker out there or just a single enemy position on it. Once we have suppressed him and he's laying down, we'll want to move up and clear his position and make sure he is being dead for the sin of shooting at us. What we'll be doing here is advance upwards in a either a bound or a leapfrog maneuver. Usually we'll prefer a bound, but the way it basically works is that you have one fire team moving up while the other covers each other, and then you basically just keep repeating that movement up until you get it. How many of you have tried this before?
Done it in real life, but not the game.
Yep, perfect. It's basically if we need to showcase it or not, but let's try it. So, Will and Harrison, if you go off my left, and you will be Charlie.
Do you want us to set a colour?
Yes, go red. And then Luke and Noble go blue. You'll be Delta.
How are you, Harry?
Yes. Can't hear you too well. Don't know if you're connected to the radio.
Can you hear me now?
Blockade channel 3.
Yep, I hear you.
Right.
The way the order will basically go is that usually the section commander here will be section prepare to move, section will be bounding, next position in front of bunker to our west 200 meters. Charlie will move while Delta covers. This essentially means that Charlie will be the first ones to conduct the movement whilst Delta will be laying down the suppressive fire. So, then I will go Charlie prepare to move, which is basically where Charlie has to go, okay, need to stop shooting and get myself ready to move. And then Charlie move. Then they will rush forward, feel free to do it, while you basically have a saying inside your head going, I'm up, they see me, and I am down. It takes about 3 seconds, and that is the timing that somewhat it takes for someone to see you get up, aim their rifle at you, and take a shot at you, before it is you poke your head back down. Let's give it a go. I'll start out by saying it on the radio, so you can follow the written, as we just move up along to the west here. We won't shoot just yet, just so you can also get just the timings in your head, and then we'll try to do it with shots afterwards. So, section prepare to move. We'll be moving in a bound west 100 meters towards the bunker. Charlie will move while Delta is on watch and shoot. Charlie prepare to move. Charlie, move.
That's when you go. Full sprint.
I'm up. They see me. I'm down. Now Charlie has moved up. Now Delta, because it's a bound, you want to move up alongside their position. So Charlie would now be laying down their rapid fire, don't you yet? And Delta will then start to move up. So Delta prepare to move. Delta, move.
And also, basically get up along and then down.
Delta set.
Yep.
And if you end up a little bit behind, feel free to just crawl up or get yourself in somewhat position. If you're a bit behind, it just means you have to run a bit faster doing the next bound. The other method of movement we have is a leapfrog. That is essentially where we need to cross a lot of ground and we need to get there quick. So this one, the sections will be jumping past each other. So instead of just bounding upwards, Delta would essentially run up alongside Charlie and then past them as well before it is they go there. I'm up, they see me, I'm down. When you conduct that maneuver, you need to make really sure that you have fire superiority, because that's a good way to just get half your section killed. Well, let's try it. A section prepare to move and a leapfrog. Next position, 50 meters front towards the enemy bunker. Delta will move while Charlie covers. Delta prepare to move. Delta move. I'm up. Please. And I'm. So when it is, the section I see says start prepare, is when you should crouch up and get ready to run. That's essentially your cue to it. Delta set. Now Charlie, you will run up them and then once you pass them is when you'll say your rhyme. So, Charlie, prepare to move. Charlie, move. And now, I'm up. They see me. I'm a bit quick. Fine. If you jump quick, it's just about, that's where you are. That's fine. You just set your movement. No need for finer adjustments. Oh then. Charlie set. Delta prepare to move. Delta, move. And I'm up. They see me. Oh no, keep going, keep going. You're leapfrogging. Up. They see me. And I'm down. Try one more. Charlie, prepare to move. Charlie, move. And I'm up. They see me, and I'm down. And one last. Delta, prepare to move. Delta, move. And I'm up. They see me, and I'm down. Still, we're leapfrogging. Alright. Let's try it this time, where you're going to head back towards me. This time I'm not going to call out the rhyme, so I want you to communicate with each other on when you move. Let's do it in a... We'll do 2 bounds and 2 leapfrogs. I'll tell you which one to do, don't worry. So, section, turn around. Face rear, face east. And Delta just run up alongside Charlie. So section prepare to move. Add a bound, that means just 1 jump. Next position is where I am. Charlie will move while Delta covers. Charlie prepare to move. Charlie, move. What? And yeah, Charlie, I want you to call set when you're ready.
Set.
Delta prepare to move. Delta, move. This one, we'll do one more. This time Charlie will cover, Delta will move. So, Delta prepare to move. Delta, move. Delta. Charlie prepare to move. Charlie, move.
Charlie set.
Gone on to leapfrog. Fine. Delta, prepare to move. Add a leapfrog. Delta, move. And Charlie bound up to Delta.
Perfect. It can be a bit confusing, especially the first times you do it, but usually everyone around you kind of goes, I'm up, they see me, I'm down, and you can kind of follow each other. Make sure you get some...
Appear to have lost Charlie too.
Yeah, I saw. Figure it out. Right, and he appears.
Ta-da!
Roger.
Hi! Alright,
Where have you been?
let's, we'll try this. Basically, also just to make you aware, what we got left here now is we just have the movements here on the fire. We'll do a quick just exercise, but there's also going to be something shooting at you, and then we're done for the evening. So, next one we'll just do just before is other than leapfrog and bounding, which can be done of course both forwards and backwards. We also have a way of moving left and right if we need to get somewhere else. So if you all just face off to the west. So one movement we have is peeling. So either peeling left or right. This is done so if we want to, for example, we ended up in a contact out here, but There's a very nice sandbag position off to our right. We just can't reach the full section just yet. Or we want to pull ourselves back into like a forest piece without compromising our fire towards the enemy target. The way you do this is essentially just when a peel is called, you'll either be peeling left or right. So let's say we are peeling to the right. What's that noise? Alright. I'm out here on the left. I've been told I'm peeling right. I will then start, turn around, and then sprint up along the line. Just say, and to the first person, Harrison here, because he's the last person after me, I just say, last man. And I move all the way up to the right side of the flank and set up, and then I'm back shooting. Basically, by the time I have come to Luke, is when Harrison should start running. About 2 seconds after Harrison knows that I've moved, he should move. And then you just start just on a line, just keep running right. It's a very efficient maneuver to just getting out of here. So we want to get behind the rocks, sort of trees over there, so.
Section, prepare to peel left. Section, peel left.
Last man.
Now Stockwell.
Last man.
Last man.
And we'll just keep going.
Last man.
Alright, and hold
man.
once you get to your position.
That was pretty smooth, wasn't it?
Alright, let's try this time. Section, contact 100 meters at the enemy bunker. Rapid, fire. Section, prepare to peel right. Section, peel right.
Last man.
Not yet, Stockwell. Wrong way. This one, keep going. Noble.
Man.
Last man.
And hold. Alright, section, prepare to move. We'll move in. Oh god, the fire team's a bit mixed. Noble Harrison's chain side. There we go. Section, prepare to move at a bound west towards bunker. Charlie will move while Delta covers. Section, fire. Charlie, move. Charlie set. Delta, prepare to move. Delta, move. Charlie, prepare to move. Charlie, move. Tip is when you run, you can also reload. So as you're sprinting up, you can reload your rifle before you lay back down. Delta, prepare to move. Delta, move. Charlie, prepare to move. Charlie, move.
Charlie set.
Delta,
set.
prepare to move.
Move. Delta, move.
That's a set.
Alright, section. We're gonna pull out of here. So section, prepare to leapfrog backwards. Next position, back at our sandbag positions. Charlie, Delta will cover while Charlie moves. Charlie, prepare to move. Charlie, move.
Charlie set.
Delta, prepare to move. Delta, leapfrog. Charlie, prepare to move. Charlie, move. What you might see is when you
Charlie
get a
set.
seasoned section, you can hear basically on the other fire team have them telling you you're ready to when you should move. Delta, prepare to move. Delta, move. Charlie, bound up to
Magazine.
Delta. Prepare to move. Charlie, move. And ceasefire. That's fine.
That went pretty alright. How'd you say? Enjoyed that one?
Many times.
The recruits are now sufficiently trained to join the unit out in operations. However, it still isn't known if they can hit a target with any accuracy. In our next and final part, we head to the firing range, where the men of 559 Troop will complete their annual combat marksmanship test.